Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Guys, I don't know how to say it. I managed to finish my bike. Yes, for a competent mechanic this is very easy. For me it was quite a task because I'm not that experienced. But I'm very proud because I managed to swap the components from the Merida and it came out nicely all together. Yes, now I have the Performance Ultimate and the winter edition of the Ultimate for riding in the rain, because as you know from my previous video I was really not happy in riding the Merida anymore. The target was to get a lighter winter bike, something that I could use maybe for a training ride as well when the weather is not good, something that happened once or twice a month here in the UK, to give me a lot more flexibility and a lot more enjoyment for my riding. Let's see the end result. Yes, it's a bit sad. This is the Merida now going for retirement. As you can see, the life was very hard for the Merida in the winter. I swapped all the parts that are now finding their home in the canyon. Yes, quite unusual to find a Sora group set on a bike like that. Sora, yes, you might not be familiar. For you guys, I understand that if it's not 11 or 12 speed Ultegra Plus, then you won't even consider. But this works really well. Yes, 9 speed for the commute, I don't really mind. And it's got 32 at the back with a compact chain set. Yes, it can tackle the hill as well, why not? People really have a snobbish attitude towards Shimano lower tier. Even 105 is considered very cheap. It works perfectly well for me. Sora, I don't have a problem in riding on my bike. The chain set is relatively new, less than 1 year, not many miles on it or kilometers. The cassette is new and the chain is new. I cleaned the chain quite well because in this case I'm not going to use anymore the Mac-Off lube. It's not Mac-Off, it's actually Mac-On. The wet lube created a mess on my previous chain. Impossible to clean, always dark. Yes, in this case I'm going to stick with squared lube even for winter ride. Yes, you might need to end up putting a lot more and more often, but much better to have a cleaner chain than the gunk that will eventually end up on your chain if you use the wet lube. It's quite hard to clean the chain straight off the transport grease. If you use wax-based lube on a chain that is not perfectly clean, at the beginning you will end up with a little bit of black residue, but you keep cleaning and eventually you won't get them anymore. Brakes are Sora as well, with the Mavic Axiom with aluminium brake track, perfectly fine even on the wet. Again, for the commute I won't really need anything more, and I guess even for a ride in the hills this will be more than adequate. I managed to do the cables, the internal cables. Luckily I left the previous cables on the Ultimate when I put the frame aside, and it was quite easy to follow the cable through using a plastic guide. Recabling was not an issue at all. New tape. This Cinelli sticky tape maybe it's not the right decision for the winter riding. The Merida had a fabric tape that was almost impossible to destroy. Very heavy duty. This looks good, feels good, but I guess it's not going to last that long. But comparing to the other Ultimate, this one's got the aluminium bar and stem combination, 12 centimeters for both. This is what I used to have before. The fork was already cut. I did use the reinforcement ring and an alternative top cap. It's not the Canyon top cap because the reinforcement ring will not clear Canyon top cap. See my previous video about the particular setup of Canyon forks, and if you do have an integrated cockpit I really suggest you to watch my video on that subject. Let's have a look at the weight. The target was to of course have a bike that was almost close to the performance bike I have and give me the same or close excitement as to the other bike. So let's see how he ended up in terms of weight. About 8.6 kilos, including bottle cage, computer holder, and all things considered is a very good weight. Yes, this bike's got some of the cheapest components, Mavic wheels, Sora group set, butyl tubes, nothing really fancy, aluminium bars and stem, mid-range saddle, and 8.6 kilos. I guess it's really good. And let's see the same bike with a little bit better components, how much it weighs. $7,390, 7.4, a bike with 105 mechanical. Yes, I guess it's really good. Price versus performance is definitely a good result. And this makes me thinking a bit about the state of the bike industry. These bikes are not expensive, especially the winter edition. My Better Canyon with the carbon components almost weigh the same as Tadej Pogacar Colnago V4 RS, and it doesn't cost £15,000. Of course, the Colnago is way better, but overall the difference are maybe not as big as you might think. But that's just my point of view. As you know, I'm trying to always balance price and performance, and so far I'm very happy with the results. Maybe the only mistake in the setup of this bike are the tires. Yes, Gato skins are the ones that I had on the Merida. They are bomb-proof, very hard wear, good puncture resistance. But yes, as Francis Cade also mentioned in one of his latest video, the wet performance, the wet grip is not great. I don't mind it when I'm going to work. I'm not going to go down the bend 70 kilometers an hour, leaning 45 degrees. If I'm going to use this bike also for training rides on a longer ride, maybe these tires are not the greatest choice. I will see what the use of the bike is going to evolve. If I'm going to use the bike a lot more, definitely a new tire is needed. Guys, let me know in the comments. I'm quite happy that the project came out together quite nice. I'll try to answer to all your comments, and I'll see you to the next video. Ciao!